Welcome back. I'm Ted Thomas, and I've been investing online for a number of years. You can do the same thing. It's relatively simple, and anyone can do this. Now, in this episode, I'm going to show you more than once how you can make $25,000, even $50,000 on one deal, and there'll be plenty of inventory nationwide. Now, there's dozens of very lucrative ways to make money online, as you know. So you already know about making money with Amazon. You know how to make money using Apple, Facebook, and Google. So all of those are available. What I'm going to talk about today is a method that I'm going to suggest that's really a small business, so where you can make small investments that will have huge ROI, huge return on the investment. So the potential is very high. Now, this all comes from a business that's been around for 200 years called tax lien certificates and tax deeds. Specifically, the tax deeds are where you're going to make the money. So every day I work online and offline making money. It's no longer unusual for someone to do that. So you'll be able to do the same thing. So you could be involved in products, but this is one where you make an investment in one deal and then you sell it and make big capital return right away. So I'm going to talk about generous returns. We're shooting for $25,000, $35,000, up to $50,000 on one transaction. I'll be right back to tell you more about that. Okay, so in the past 30 years, I've been involved in a subset of the real estate business that's referred to as tax liens and tax deeds. Now, the next few minutes, I'll give you a brief insight into that marketplace. Now, this has been around for well over 200 years, and it requires a small investment because we buy for basically the back taxes are very close, and then we can sell for as much money as we want. So the ROI on your small investment can really be very, very high. Now, I discovered this business about 30 years ago, and I've never looked back. Why? Because I could look and see what the property was, the starting bid was going to be, and then all I had to do was research and find out what the market was. So if the market was $100,000 and I could buy it for $20,000, I knew I had lots of margin. So that's how I got involved in the business. It's been around for hundreds of years. So this is a little known process. However, it's highly lucrative to the people that understand how to do it. So simply explained, here's what's going on. The county has trouble collecting real estate taxes. Many people don't pay it. And if they don't pay the taxes, the legislature of the state says that's a no-no. So what they do is they pass rules and laws that say you're mandated to pay property tax. So if you don't pay the tax, they've already authorized the Board of Supervisors or the county commissioners to take action. Now, the action they're going to take is the county supervisors are going to levy the tax, they're going to try and collect the tax, and then if they can't collect it, they're actually going to seize or confiscate the property. So the local county has tried to collect the tax. If they can't do it, well, then they're going to seize the property. What are they going to do with it? Well, I can tell you right now, the property owner failed to pay tax. Now no revenue is coming into the county. That presents the county with a big problem. So what the county will do is they'll seize the property, and then they'll place it on the auction block, and they'll sell it. Now, what are they going to sell it for? Well, they're not going to try to get retail. They just want to get the property from the defaulted list over onto the honorable tax-paying list. So they want that property paying taxes. So they discount it down and sell it, usually for the back taxes are very close to that. So the properties are sold at auction to the highest bidder. Anybody that wants to go to the auction can go there. The only qualification is you need money to buy at the auction. That's absolutely the only qualification. These properties, some of them are sold for actual back taxes. All right, now the properties are sold, they're discounted 60, 70, 80% before they're sold. So you know what the selling price is before. However, it's an auction, so that price could change at the auction. The county does not care about the value. If it's a $100,000 property, they don't care. They'll set a minimum bid, and if they get that, they're happy. Why? Because they want to get the property back on the tax roll. The back taxes is where they start the bidding, okay? It can go up from there, but you can understand before you start, you know what the minimum bid is going to be. Now, what can you sell it for? That's going to be up to you. What is the market? So you can look at all that before you go. Now, are all these properties perfect? No. Some of them are junk. Others have just been built. Most of them are going to be used and abused. The point is, you want to buy the property at a low price and then sell it at a low price and make your profit. Now, anybody can buy at this auction. Highest bidder is going to get it. The treasurer conducts the auction, and when they put the hammer down, the gavel comes down, then the auction is over. And if they've sold it for 10 or 20 cents on the dollar, they're happy. Now, why do they want to sell the property? Well, the county already owns all the schools and all the administration business and the roads and the parks and all that. They don't want any more property. What they do want is they want the revenue from that property. So the treasurer has been given all the power to do this by the legislature, and believe me, they do it. So auction buyers are receiving a property, surprisingly, with no mortgage, because the treasurer is authorized to wipe out the mortgage. So when the auction takes place, the mortgage is wiped out. So you're buying a property free and clear of most mortgage liens. So that's something you want to know about. Now, as I say, anybody can buy at these auctions, okay? All right, you can buy, you decide what price you're going to pay. All right, now here's what usually happens. At auctions, everybody's very good at buying, okay? So the challenge isn't buying these properties, but it's another whole ball game selling them. So how do we sell them quickly? Well, we don't try to get retail price. We discount it down. We do the same thing. We copycat Walmart, Costco, Target. They all bring the price down to make their products sell quickly. So we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to buy it low and we're going to sell it low. The whole idea is to sell it low and do it quickly. So the smart money has already educated themselves. They're already figured out that they're going to use media to help them out. Now, what do I mean by media? Well, media would be radio, television, newspapers. But with the real estate, you have a lot of media to use. You can use the multiple listing service. You could use Trulia. You could use Zillow. You could use Facebook Marketplace. You could put tons of signs around it. You're getting the idea. So there's lots of ways to let people know that the property's available. So if you use all of those sources, you're going to have many people coming to the property. So if you're below market, if you're below what the selling price average in the neighborhood, then you've got a good chance of selling it quickly. So the whole idea is buy it and then quickly resell it. We're trying to get in with a low price and we come out with a maximum profit, but we want to do it quickly. So the auction buyers, that's you and I, we have a competitive advantage. The advantage is the property's going to get sold for back taxes or slightly more. Now, if you bid it up to 100%, that's not slightly more. You want to buy it significantly less than the market. So starting bids can easily be 10 cents, 20 cents on the dollar. Now, what kind of discount is that? Well, that's going to be discounts of 60, 70, 80%. Now, folks, if you can buy a property for 20 cents on the dollar, could you sell it for 50 cents on the dollar and be happy? Well, of course you could. All right, remember, these properties all come with no mortgage or deed of trust loan. The tax collector has already wiped those off the property. All right, so how do you do all this? Well, our question today was how to invest online and make money. This business is perfect for that. You can buy all the properties you want. There's over 3,000 auctions there's 5,000 auctions, but there's 3,000 counties that sell these properties, and they all have at least one auction every single year. All right, now, how are you going to do the paperwork and all this? You're just going to go to a title company, and they'll provide you with buying and selling documents. You go to an attorney, they'll do that. You go to a title company, it's going to be a lot better and a lot easier and a lot cheaper. Why? Because it'll happen quickly, and it won't slow the whole process down. All right, so this system works online. It's been working for dozens of years. It didn't work online when I started because there wasn't any way to do it online. But you certainly can do it now. So if you can buy low and you can sell low, you're certainly in business right away. Now, if your purchase price is low enough, you're going to be able to make profits, high profits, $25,000, $35,000, $45,000 on one profit. Now, my name is Ted Thomas, and I finished this video. But before I do, I want to mention right below me is a free gift for you. But if you are going to go out and buy these properties, don't buy any properties that you haven't looked at. What do I mean by that? You need to have boots on the ground and see what the property is. Some of these properties are junkers, but even worse than that, what if you bought a property and there was a hurricane the day before, or there was a fire, or there was a flood, or something went wrong? Well, now you own a property you couldn't get rid of. So you need to have boots on the ground. Second big mistake people make is they get to the auction and they bid the properties up, and they bid them up too much. So always know what you can sell for. The beauty of the business is before you ever spend a dime, you can look at that property and know what you're going to sell it for and figure all that out. My name is Ted Thomas. I'll see you on the next video.